Let me bring in Democrat of California Congressman Ted Lieu, who is on the House Judiciary and Foreign Affairs Committee. So, Congressman, it's good to see you, especially today. And so I want to start with that topic that's dominating headlines. Bill Barr's DOJ suggesting a lighter sentence for Donald Trump's longtime friend, Roger Stone. What would you want to ask him about that?
Thank you, Chris, for your question. Look, regular Americans don't get special breaks from prosecutors. And in this case, the Department of Justice did a favor for Roger Stone because he happens to be Donald Trump's friend. So I'd like to ask Bill Barr if he thinks it's appropriate for people who are rich and well-connected to get special favors from the Department of Justice. Because if that's the case, then the Department of Justice should no longer be calling itself the Department of Justice because it's not doing justice. It's simply engaging in corruption.
So what else is on your list of priorities? If there was one or two other questions you wanted to ask him, and honestly, Congressman, do you think he's going to fully cooperate?
He's going to be under oath. I hope he tells American people the truth. Bill Barr has this theory of maximum executive power, and it leads to these absurd results where you can have one person, Donald Trump, go after his enemies and be light on his friends. That's what countries like North Korea, Russia, and Iran do. They go after political enemies, and they do special favors for their friends. We are not like that. We should not be like that. We do not bow down to the whims of one man. We are governed by the rule of law, and I hope Bill Barr understands that.
So, the question becomes, and I wonder if this is just unbelievably frustrating for you and your fellow Democrats, what do you do about it, right? There have been people who have suggested, well, it is possible to impeach an attorney general, but obviously, it's never been done before. We saw where things went with the president's impeachment. I mean, what do you think about impeachment, and what do you do if you believe that Bill Barr is using DOJ as the president's personal law firm?
Right. So other than Senator Mitt Romney, all the Senate Republicans are basically a quivering mass of jello. They're simply going to bow down and kneel before Donald Trump. As a result, the only folks who can now hold Donald Trump accountable are the American people in November. And my view is the House Judiciary Committee in which I sit needs to continue to expose the misconduct and outrageous behavior of the administration so the American people can have the information they need before they vote.
So let me ask you finally, there are 192 members of Congress who have studied or practiced law. And that doesn't give them a lock on understanding the way things should work or what's right or wrong. But you would think that there would have been some training about the way things work, how they should work, and even basically, as every kid in grade school learns, about the independence of the judiciary. So are you at all surprised that more haven't spoken up? And do you see any kind of red line for this president or for the attorney general that you think would have more people standing up in Congress?
Well, the members of Congress who are Democrats, we have stood up to Donald Trump. The ones you mentioned who are Republicans have kneeled before him and bowed down. And that is very disappointing to me. Last term, the American people flipped the House because they saw the Republican-controlled House essentially enable every crazy thing Donald Trump wanted, and they flipped the House. I think the U.S. Senate is going to flip this November because the American people actually want a check and balance. They don't just want people who bow down to one man.
Congressman Ted Lieu, it's always good to have you on the program, sir. Thanks so much. Appreciate it.